You're now watching Haunt Talk with your host Scott from Exploring Attractions and Rob from the Howling Hour, home for all things scary and spooky related.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Haunt Talk, the Haunt Talk podcast, that is. My name is Scott from Exploring Attractions.
And I am Rob of the Howling Hour.
And today we have a special guest here. We have Taylor, a.k.a. Tiptoe, from Carnival. How you doing today?
Pretty good, sir.
That's the perfect way to intro the pod. We kind of, as soon as we jumped on the Zoom call, we were talking all about Nightmares Revealed and everything like that. And I was like, wait a second, we should have just saved this for the podcast. But it's okay. We'll revisit it. So today we're going to obviously be talking to Taylor here about her experience as a scare actor. By the way, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited. Joey was one of our first guests, and Joey was like a ball of energy. And now he's over at Fright Fest. So,
yeah,
at Scary Farm. So now we have an exclusive Scary Farm monster. But we're going to be talking a little bit about her experience as a scare actor, as well as kind of recapping a little bit Nightmares Revealed for the Knott Scary Farm event that was announced. So why don't we start off with that? Taylor, what was kind of your reaction to Nightmares Revealed this year, since it was your first year going?
I was super excited that I snagged tickets this time, because last year I got kind of screwed over because everyone bought tickets and they did a second round and it sold out. I'm like, no, but
that's right. They did do like a second phase of them, huh?
Yeah.
They didn't do that this year because I think they all just sold out completely. Well, I got lucky to go. I was like, all right, which one of my monster friends do I know? Because I know that they're going to have people from every zone, including Ghost Town. And I'm like, I'm excited to see the Carnival people. Knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Jen as the ringmaster? Dude.
I know. As soon as I saw her as a ringmaster, I was like, that's like the perfect like costume and character for her. Yeah.
Like, she is loud, she's energetic, she's bringing this new life to Carnival that I'm so excited to see on opening night.
Yeah.
And the new mazes, oh no, they're so good. I love the concept. I love how the boogeyman looks. Terrifying. So excited.
I think that one of the coolest things about the two mazes in specific is like you have one that's like kind of taps into like actual people's fears, if you will, of spiders. Yeah. And then you have one that kind of makes you think a little bit, which Gus like does amazing mazes like that, that kind of make you focus on like sleep paralysis and everything, and it's like something that you typically wouldn't. It's like such a topic that's not really tapped into necessarily in haunt mazes, so yeah. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, with the whole boogeyman thing, I'm like, I'm so excited to see how this whole maze plays out, because I have a feeling they're going to have narration from the boogeyman himself throughout the maze, like how Mesmer
I didn't
does.
even think about that.
Yeah, it'll be the new Mesmer.
Yeah, which that's still my favorite.
Yeah, no complaints. No complaints here with that. Right. If it's like a new Mesmer, especially like I was not so much. I didn't really kind of get the concept, and I talked to Scott about like widows, and I was like, well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people are afraid of spiders. That's just like a common thing, even from when you're little till you get older. There's just that fear of spiders, because like these little things could bite you and then you could die. So that's just crazy, and they could be in your shoe or whatever. But the other one, the boogeyman one, that one's just like what Scott was saying. You never really think about that, and then like someone's eating like your fingers and you can't wake up, and it just taps in. Both these new mazes tap into so many like fears that you have, not only as a child but as an adult. So I think I'm really excited for both of them.
Exactly, they're gonna be so good.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is too, like the way that they presented them on the actual stage was really clever, because I don't think that they did that last year. I think the Keeper came out once, but I don't think they did it for like Room 13 or Cinema Slasher. So the fact that they actually presented them this year, and they really like, I don't want to say they rushed their presentation this year, but since it is such a short event, it was nice that they did like it was like a 40-minute presentation rather than using up the whole hour.
Yeah.
Like they just got through it quicker, so then everybody can go experience the rest of what Nightmares Revealed had to offer. So I thought that was pretty unique. But Rob, I'm curious to see how it was like through the stream. Like, were you getting all the same stuff that we were getting, or was there stuff
You
missed?
know what? You know what? I will say this. Thank you, Knotts, for putting it on the stream. But there were some barrels in the way, and I could
Those darn barrels.
Yeah, those barrels, man. But you know what? For the most part, you got the vibe of the event. There was a certain shot where you could see, like the crowd and the stage, and it was electric. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and the word that came to my mind was like electric. You felt like the buzz even through the stream, with the exception of those barrels. I would say
the Knott styrofoam barrels.
Yeah, they need to sell. Yeah, they need to sell. Yeah, there you go. Don't let the barrels get in your way. For the most part, it was I think solid. It came through really well. I got to kind of I was listening to it and then looking at it while I was at work, so I was just like, okay. And then, but as far as the the videos and stuff like that, everything looked really good. I was excited. I think the trailers that they put out for each of the new mazes, they did a really good job with. I think they did a good job of capturing the environment on that stage. I know thank you to all the streamers who streamed. I really wish they would be like someone maybe like taking you into the Legacy store, something like that. I know it's a longer stream and I'm wishing here, but other than that, I really, really liked the stream that they did, and I think it's the exception of the barrels, everything was good. Those barrels, man, I was just like, move the barrels.
It's like when someone's like live streaming like a presentation or whatever, and you're like, just turn the volume up.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Like, I mean, obviously they did it last year too, and Knott's is still trying to work out the streaming game, which is fine. But I think it's cool regardless that they had 2 different camera setups, to like show the crowd and then show the stage. I thought that was unique.
Yeah.
And then something I was talking to Taylor about like before we started recording is because I went to both the first year, which was last year, and this year, and the organization was like 10 times better. So I really, really appreciated that compared to last year. I feel like it was just better set up. And then having people go through the front rather than the back gate, which is usually like the employee gate, it was just also way better.
Yeah, my friend was sending me pictures from last year, and he's like, "I'm so glad you're not here. You would have had a panic attack." I'm like,
yeah, there were so many people, and there was a lot of people this year, but like last year it was like you felt like claustrophobic,
Yeah, it's because they put everyone in the back lot where there's more space, and you're not just cramped next to each other by Western.
Yeah, exactly. And you said that they let you like actually walk around even when the panel was going on, right?
Yeah.
Which I thought that was cool too.
The monsters were all still out. I'm like, cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all the other monsters from other zones like Gauntlet, Carnival, and Goring were all out. I think Forsaken was by media.
Yeah.
Set up.
Yeah, that's awesome then. That's actually really cool that Knotts did that. Did you have
so the monsters got to watch it too.
Yeah, exactly. They just got to chill there and watch the whole thing. Did you get the opportunity to do anything else other than like the Legacy store?
Honestly, the Legacy store was the only thing I really wanted to do. I wanted to do Chilling Chambers, but my brain forgot.
Yeah.
But I just sat in Ghost Town and people watched, and I was like, look at my friends go. I'm so proud of them.
Yeah, go. Your time will come.
Eventually.
Yeah. I thought it was cool, like how many different actors from different, like with these events and stuff like that. It's cool because you have a freaking clown in Ghost Town, like you don't see that during regular Scary Farm. So I thought that was pretty freaking cool just to see like everybody all together because everyone's like all friends, and it was cool to see like all like the characters like kind of mesh with each other, even if they were from a different zone. It was just cool to see.
Exactly. Like the only other time you got to see that is during the rope drop ceremony from last year where everyone got to get together, and I was like, oh, that was perfect.
And then everyone kind of runs off after. But I mean, overall, I'm pretty happy with everything coming on. I'm still a little bit confused with Elvira's show. Like,
Me too.
I'm like, is there going to be dancers? Is it going to be entertainment? Or is it just like we're just watching a screen? Then I'm confused.
I'm also confused, but I feel like what I've gathered, because I'm very interested in this Elvira show, just because when she was there and she actually was led the show, it was very entertaining. So it sounds like it's going to be like a show based around Elvira. Now, are we going to get like this is the confusing part for me, is are we going to get like an Elvira like impersonator, like because there, again, I've said this before, there are a lot of people who can impersonate her and maybe have them come out and be her for that for that show, or is it just going to be like dancers and singers, and maybe we get like her on the screen? Maybe she's done like videos where she's gonna pop up on the screen, say something, and then we go into another skit or sketch or another dance number kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that'll be kind of the idea. I just don't foresee Knott wasting prime real estate in that theater to have people sit down and just watch a screen the entire time. Am I wrong there?
Yeah, because Music Monsters and Mayhem last year was a really good like attention grabber.
Yeah,
because it was a really good show, really good dancers, fucking phenomenal.
Yeah,
so
it was amazing. The best satanic show ever. And I loved every second of it. But like the thing with that one too is like I feel like Knott's would have picked up on the feedback, because one thing that Knott's has been doing recently is like they're really picking up on the feedback and addressing it. The feedback that was presented with that show was like it was a little bit too long. So I feel like if they brought it back this year, they would have cut back on it and still had those different dance numbers that were very, very well put together. Like the Ghost Town one, the opening, I think it was very good with the bride opening the show. I thought that was incredible. But now we have Elvira, so I'm just hoping that we get some form of like elaborate dance numbers like that, because it's the Walter Knott Theater. I feel like it's prime real estate. And
we need more good things.
The hanging, I didn't see it like when I was there because I was kind of in the corner, but I guess the hanging is named the Errors Tour. So spot on with that. I'm curious to see what Jeff Tucker does.
Like the Errors Tour, right?
Yeah, but the error,
like errors. Okay, yeah. I was like, hold on, wait.
No, okay. It's the Errors Tour. They didn't just rip off the actual Errors Tour, Rob.
I mean, you could wordplay with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they did a little bit. But so then so is Taylor Swift going to show up? I mean, not Taylor Swift, but obviously.
I mean, you'll have Taylor there. I don't know about Taylor Swift.
That is true. That is true. This Taylor is my favorite Taylor, so I would take this Taylor over Tay-Tay.
Oh, stop.
Speaking of you, let's talk about your character a little bit. Over the years, you have been in Carnival, right?
Yes.
And was it your first year last year, or was it your second year?
That was my first year,
okay,
but my second year overall at Haunt.
Right, yeah. And then where'd you start off with?
I was in Mesmer in 2022 as the contortionist.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then you just jumped right over to Carnival.
Yeah, I had a character pitch, and they're like, cool, we want to see what you can do with it, and they gave me a chance, and I did it.
Cool. So is that you kind of like come up into a zone? Like, did you audition for a maze spot again and then pitch that, or like how did that come to be?
So in 2022, that was my first year ever auditioning for a haunt in general. So I'm like, I'm going to take what they give me because I don't know what to expect. And I did my flexible stuff, and they're like, we have the perfect role for you.
Yeah, like a Mesmer immediately.
They're like, contortionist, boom, right there. I'm like, great. I had a great first year. I met some amazing people, and I'm like, I'm addicted. I want to work this. And I was like, ooh, I was doing more research into the zone lore, and I was like, what's something that I don't think has been done before? A ballerina on point. And I pitched it, and they're like, you're cooking. We're going to let you try that.
They're going to let you cook, I guess you could say.
They let me cook. They let me cook, and I did it. I went through 4 pairs of point shoes.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
I have no regrets.
Yeah. I don't know how expensive those are, but like at least it was only 4 and not like 10.
Yeah. Real Russian point shoes are about $200 a piece.
Jeez.
Ugh. Wow.
I know because I've been doing it for about 10 years, and you go through them really quickly. So I'm like, oh no! But I found a cheaper pair on Amazon that are black point shoes, so they fit the zone aesthetic, and those are only like $50. So I'm like, we're good.
It's not bad at all.
Duct tape fixes my problems.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like duct tape is like a big thing in Haunt.
It absolutely is. Gorilla tape, E6000, 1 minute set.
Wrapping around
oh god,
wrapping around the sliding gear nonstop.
Yeah, because things happen. Toe caps fall off, fingers fall off, and you're like, shit, what am I gonna do?
Like, someone give me some duct tape.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it just a second ago, and this is something I was going to ask, and kind of like maybe go more a little bit into depth. You mentioned like dancing, ballet kind of thing. Obviously, you know, we've those of us who attend Scary Farm, you're kind of like I would say for me, you stand out, a legend, even with that kind of, I guess, style. When did you start doing dance, and like how did you like think to incorporate that into scaring, and how, like, your passion for it?
So I've been a dancer my entire life, ever since I was 2 years old. So that's about 18, 19 years. It's been my entire life. It's been a huge passion of mine. But I was always a weird kid. I was always into horror and all this spooky stuff. And I kind of like, I was still dancing at the time, but I went to Scary Farm in 2021, and I was like, whoa, maybe there's a correlation here. I can correlate dance and scaring if I really try. And I really tested that out in Mesmer, in that hallway that I was placed in.
It was the red, like, kind of where the eyes
spiral
at.
room.
Yeah, the spiral room.
It's called the Hall of Blood and Bones.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look closely, there's skulls and a bunch of bones in those spiral pillars.
Really?
Yeah, it's. I mean, spending like 6 weeks in there.
You notice everything.
Like, oh!
Yeah, I freaking love that maze, and I guess I'm just oblivious to that stuff.
It's such a beautiful maze. I love it. It holds a special place in my heart as a whole circus freak nerd. But yeah, since I was a contortionist character, I was wearing ballet shoes in there. I was like, I'm gonna really do the dancing thing because I've never acted before. I've only done stage performances as a dancer. So really, Mesmer really helped me get a grip on how my style is, what I like to push for, how I scare people, because I'm short and I don't look intimidating, but I'm really short, so I'm good at, sneaking up behind people and they don't know that I'm there. Or just standing on top of a pillar and looking intimidating.
Yeah. You kind of like find your, like, the best kind of tips and tricks and ways that you can go about creating a character, especially if you don't have like a cue or anything. Some haunt characters have like cues, like they step on the pedal, they jump out, or like they're rephrasing like something going on in the scene. Whereas if you're kind of just there, you really have to create your own character essentially based on what they give you, and figure out how you're going to bring that character to life. So
and
did you ever?
My hallway,
Go ahead.
My hallway was really long, so I had a lot of room to work with, and I had the pillars to stand on top of. I was actually sliding on my knees because it was plexiglass. I'm like, oh, I can do this. I didn't even know sliding was a thing. I just started doing it, and I'm like, oh, that works.
Yeah. I'm sure the pain after was not great.
I mean, I was wearing like, I think, a pair of tights and volleyball knee pads, and then tights take me over it. So. Oh,
perfect. And you're all set then.
I'm used to spinning bare knee on Marley.
Exactly. and then on your tiptoes all the time too. So. It seems like you're just putting yourself through pain as haunt characters.
That's dance and haunt. You just gotta deal with the pain. Yeah, love it.
And then the rest of the entire year until haunt again, you just like recover.
Unless you're sliding like me 2 times a week, you're just like.
So how'd you? It's a perfect segue. How'd you get into Decade then?
So I actually got a DM from the Decade account saying, "Hey, we're holding auditions. Would you like to be a part of this?" I'm like, absolutely. So I showed up. I did their little audition, and they're like, "All right, we'll get back to you soon." And then I heard back and like, you're on the team because we really like your abilities as a slider. We can train you. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Because I've only been sliding for a year at that point, since February of 23. So I was like, oh. Oh, I was a little bit intimidated because I didn't know much about the sport.
Yeah.
But once we started rehearsing and we all got to know each other better, we're a big old family. And I'm so grateful to be on the team. And performing at Midsummer was the most like exhilarating thing I've done. I haven't performed in about a year. So that was just a breath of fresh air to finally do that again. That's and awesome. In a completely different way. Because I get to actually interact with people watching. They want to watch me. I'm just like, this is so cool. I love this.
I think that like you mix it perfectly with like your dancing background and stuff. So it's like now that you get to perform something that you are really, really passionate about in the haunt world too, while also bringing your dance and now another element in the sport of sliding. It's like, it's really cool to mix all that together.
Yeah, it was super fun. Thanks, Snooki, for helping with the choreography because she's a dancer as well. And once she figured out that I was a dancer, she's like, "Oh, we're gonna use it."
Yeah, we're gonna give you so many different things now.
Like we're choreographing, we're dancing, we're having a great time.
Rob, go ahead.
That's awesome. I mean, I gotta just with the sliding and do you feel, and I know you mentioned like you're smaller framed. Do you feel like that's like a benefit? Like, do you think like you can do more things? Like I've seen you for a while now, like on Instagram. Before I actually like knew who you were, I've seen you like on Instagram, and I know you would post videos of like of you doing kind of different things, and I would always think like, I wonder how like, because you're so small, and I small and mighty is what I would say. Do you feel like something exactly? Do you feel like some things like, are you trying to work on like things that maybe are a little more difficult? If you feel like, oh, if I was, maybe a little bigger, or if I could do this, or I'm too small for this, or is there something where you're just like, no, I got this, or like moves and stuff like that? How does that work for you?
For me, I think distance jumping is the hardest because you really have to stretch out your body to do it. And I went from jumping one body to 6 in like 4 months. So it's just a matter of practice and technique that I need to get used to. It's definitely easier for taller people to jump distance because they have more to go. But limbo is super easy because I just bend in half. So flexibility is already there. I think, jumping is just the hardest thing. And high jump over the limbo. That's pretty hard for me.
That's also another thing that like you could excel in, like taller, because then you can like kind of drag your body over. Yeah. I did sliding for like just as a hobby when I was like freaking 18, which was 6 years ago. And I was like, oh yeah, everyone thinks like, oh, you can just do it, You can't just do it. Let me tell you that. It takes a work.
It's a while to get used to.
Yeah, and even when you get good at it, like you're still plenty of room for improvement because it's hard. And yes, it is like a lot more dangerous than most things. You still have to be safe and make sure that you don't take yourself out,
Yeah, because plenty of injuries can and will happen. Like my friend Truitt, he dislocated his shoulder first rehearsal.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, well,
there you go.
No. Yeah, injuries will happen. You just have to take care of yourself, engage whether or not, is this a good idea? Should I be doing this while I'm already injured? Maybe not.
Yeah. Can my body handle this so much all the time,
Yeah, like when I first started, I didn't have any padding underneath my hands. My hands were so bruised, and I'm like, I need to wrap my hand with something. And you kind of just learn that trial and error.
Yeah. So I want to go back to you mentioned just your, like the way you move and stuff like that, and your contortion. I got to ask you about this just because how I've seen the way you bend and twist and move your body, and I don't know how that's possible. So you got to tell me, like, how do you train for that? How do you like get your body to do those things? Obviously, I know stretching. Like I stretch at the gym in the morning, but that's just so I could walk around. Like how do you stretch your body to be able to like twist and bend and do all those cool things that you do?
So with being a dancer, my body's naturally trained to be doing this, and my instructors discovered I had really unnatural flexibility, especially in my back. So they really stretched that and used that to my best ability. So my body's kind of used to it at this point. So if I don't stretch my back, it cramps up and it hurts. I actually have really bad scoliosis, which I figured out literally right before Haunt last year. And I'm like, so can I still do what I was doing? Like, yeah, you have to keep doing that to make sure that your body's still limber, because I don't want my back to lock up. With that, I always stretch every day. And just so you know, as you get older, you will lose flexibility. And I learned that because I took a year off of dance, and I'm like, shit, I should have kept doing it. But I still gained most of that back, especially with doing aerial lyra. Helped me out with that a lot. And then, yeah, just being on streets, just using my back as much as I can, using my leg flexibility.
Do you ever see yourself, like, obviously, like, you're a haunt monster right now, but do you ever see yourself, because I noticed you're doing a lot of, like, aerial stuff, too, or practicing it, do you ever see yourself wanting to, like, pursue, like, entertainment in, like, a haunt, like a show or something where you're doing that?
I thought about it, but I think my heart lies with being a monster. There's this thrill about it that makes me look forward to doing it every year, that I'm like, if that ever dies out, maybe I'll become a performer. But I really like the interacting with people, the crowd. Yeah, some of them kind of suck, but you know, it'll happen. Drunk people exist. It's gonna happen. Annoying teenagers are gonna be there. But just interacting with people and performing directly with them is another thrill that I never thought that I'd ever get to do. And being in Carnival, one of the most interactive zones ever, where you can just talk directly to someone because we're not dead. We're the only zone where we're alive, and we can make fun of people nicely and
or meanly, you know.
Or meanly. If you, some of them.
What was like? What was the biggest difference, I feel, having that like interaction in Carnival rather than like in Mesmer, where you didn't really say anything? What was that like?
Yeah, that was something I had to get used to, because I couldn't really prepare for that. Same
It's
with,
like improv, essentially.
It is. I tried my best to prepare myself for it, but my running partner Kane's like, dude, you just gotta be in it, because that's how you're gonna learn. It's hard to teach someone how to be a streets monster, because you don't really learn until you're in the environment. Just like how you don't know how your character's going to act. Like, I had a lot of character things that I had in my head, all went out the window opening night. Contacts go in, mask goes on, I don't know who I am anymore. I am my character. I'm immersed in who I'm trying to portray. And people are going to snap back at you and be mean, and you have to just be really quick on your feet. And that's something that can't be taught. You really just gotta turn your brain off and hope for the best.
That's why I feel like I have such like a respect for like any haunt monsters in the world, but especially ones who have like talking rules and stuff. When you have this annoying ass teenager snapping back at you and saying like you're not funny, you're not scary, it's like, okay, how do you adapt to that? You know, like you gotta have this like pride in yourself. Like, I'm not gonna let that get to me. So I just have like a full respect for like all people in the haunt world who are doing stuff like that, because like you definitely have to have confidence in yourself and not let that get to you, because it'll happen a million times a night. You know?
I struggle with social anxiety and crowds and stuff like that, so I was like, how am I gonna deal with this? Because I dealt with it in Mesmer, but that's because I wasn't supposed to talk, the music was blaring, you can't really hear me anyway. The only noises I'd make were like screeching and yelling, or yelling at people that their shoes are untied. It was funny, just to get them off guard, and I'm like, ha, suck it. But
like that was funny to me.
Yeah, like I'm entertaining myself at this point. Last hour of the night is silly hour, but I'm entertaining myself at this point. But yeah, the switch from maze to streets with that, honestly, when I'm in my character, especially when I had my mask, I was like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Anxiety, who's that?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run out there and do my thing. So that's a huge relief because, anxiety is the worst.
Yeah.
And I had a panic attack one of my first nights because I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to react to people? People are going to bully me because I'm small. People are going to harass me, try to grab me. I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
Thank God for Kane, though, because he was my running partner and he helped protect me because no one wants to screw with a 4'11" clown girl when a 6 foot tall demonic clown man is standing behind her.
I was going to say, Kane's pretty tall and he's got that long hair. So, like, I don't think anyone would want to mess with him.
he's a scary man.
Yeah. You had a perfect running mate,
Yeah, the dynamic was like I was here and he was all the way up here.
I do want to say huge shout out to you for dealing with that because I have anxiety, which a lot of people don't know about, and I talk about it. I've talked about it before briefly, but it's so hard being in what I do, as a YouTuber and stuff, to where you're talking to people and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to, I'm not being rude, I'm just my anxiety's triggered at some point, so I kind of turn into this shell, which is funny considering what I do as a second job. But so I can only imagine how hard that is to deal with it, constantly interacting with people. So huge shout out to you for that.
I was gonna mention just not so much the anxiety thing, but you having to deal with that. This is more like a props to you, just because I know when someone rubs me the wrong way, I sometimes I just have a bad attitude, and I know this is what you do. You're a scare actor and you have to deal with this, but at the same time it's still not cool. But then also again, and this is where the props to you goes, is you have a bad interaction with these people, but then for the next people who've done nothing to you, you have to be on it, and you have to scare them and go right at them, and because they're here, these people are here for fun. These, I'm gonna say teenagers, because but they've caused a bad time, and then these people come and they're here for a good time, and then you go right into scaring them. So again, that's props to you. And then for you to share the anxiety thing, that's it shows your strength, I would say, just because I don't deal with that. I know Scott, me and Scott have talked about it, and with him and my wife, she deals with anxiety a lot. So I'm on the outside looking in, whereas I don't know what that's like, but I do my best to understand. So, but for you to be in this position you're in, and to do the things that you do and have to deal with that, it's just a whole other level of respect and then also gratitude, because these events don't happen without you guys. So it's thank you so much for you're really putting yourself in a position that you don't have to be put in, overloading your anxiety, but you're doing it, and you're successful at it. So thanks to you, and we appreciate you doing this for us, for our entertainment, pretty much.
Basically.
Yeah. You're stressing yourself out for our entertainment, so thank you.
It's all worth it in the end, honestly.
Yeah.
I got it. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask, and I know this is probably a tough question to answer, but who are some of the people, whether it's scare acting world or dance world or anyone, just people who you have helped you, you would say oh, these are I could be my buddy Tony and Scott, they've got me to here, and they're always pushing me. Who are some people that are always encouraging you, lifting you up, and they give you those constructive feedback, or those just the praise when you need it? Who are some of those people in your world that help you out in that way?
Kane, number one. He helped me through the last season. He actually gave me some pep talks while he was in his mask, and if you guys saw him, he looked terrified. So imagine that face telling you, hey, everything's going to be okay. You're doing great out there. Kick some fucking ass.
You're can you take the mask off, please?
I feel it'd be one of those things where it's the big person looking down and just being
yeah, tall people scare me. Beggs is another one who is famously known as Death.
Okay.
He has been a big supporter for me. Him, the Angel of Death, Huntress, and their wives Sonia and Bree.
Oh, I love them. I love them.
All
All
of them
the
have been
the four horsemen right there. I love them so
literally
much.
all 4 of them are my moms. Oh, and Red, I love her too.
Okay.
They all 6 of them have helped me so much, and they've helped me with my character. Red designed my face when I got put into makeup, and they've just been nothing but kind to me, and I'm so grateful for them.
That's
I think it's telling because you hear a lot of people, and like everyone obviously all like loves each other, like in the scare actor world, and everyone knows of each other even if you're not friends.
Mhm.
But you hear the same thing from everyone, like, yeah, this person's super supportive, this person's super supportive. You don't never heard like, oh, well, actually that person's not that great. Which I'm sure behind the scenes there's stuff going on too, but like for the most part, like it's always like positive. Like everyone supports each other, which I think is
Yeah.
such a telling thing about the haunt community. You know, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. We need all the support we can get from each other because we know most of the guests aren't supporting us unless they're like huge time fans and know us outside of character.
Right.
But
Exactly,
regular
yeah.
people coming through just to have fun and get drunk and harass us, they don't know that we're real people. They don't treat us like real people.
Yeah.
So that's why behind the scenes, we got to have each other's backs. Like, especially Carnival, we always say that we are a family. If you see someone getting harassed, you jump on their ass and help them.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that's another thing too. Is like how to de-escalate a situation even in character. You know,
Right.
Yeah, because we can't touch the guests. They can touch us, but we can't touch them. So we got to be the bigger person and just take our friend and just go, come on, we're gonna go backstage and we're gonna go calm down before we try to kill someone.
Yeah.
Because that's had to
before we
happen.
become our actual character.
Yeah. The day after Friday the 13th was actually the worst. That was one of the busiest nights. It was just hell on earth in Carnival, especially. It was packed. It was crowded the whole time. Panic Attack Central, basically. And guests were on their worst behavior. I'm like, guys, oh, this sucks. Nights like those. But that's when we say you just got to be sharks in the water. Keep moving. If you stop, let it be for no longer than 5 seconds. Just keep moving. Because when you stop, that's when you start getting harassed more. If someone's in your ear talking shit, just keep moving. Don't even acknowledge them. Because not acknowledging them makes them more pissed off, I've learned.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And especially nowadays, you have like the aspect of phones and TikTok and all this
shoving
crap.
a flashlight in your face.
Yeah, all this crap that like if you don't want to act like an asshole to someone, you just want to keep moving because you act like an asshole, well then you're going to be the next viral TikTok.
Exactly.
You know.
Literally opening night, I had a fucking phone in my face saying, "Oh, you're ugly. You need makeup tips." I'm like, I'm not taking makeup tips from other clowns. Bye. And
cool.
that got posted. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't say anything mean. I just snapped back and left.
Yeah, you just played a little bit into your character. It was fine. Yeah.
Exactly, because my character, she comes from a background of being excessively bullied for being blind in one eye. She's a dancer, obviously. Gee, I wonder where that background came from. And she, almost like a Carrie moment. She got bullied so much, she's like, I'm done. I'm not taking this anymore. Left. And started becoming her clown alter ego, where she's like, oh, I'm actually pretty good here. I'm not, shit on everyone's shoe like everyone's treating me to be. She was finally praised for what she was doing and at the carnival. So now she's kind of not think she's better than you, but she thinks highly of herself finally. She doesn't think that she's a piece of shit.
She's got that confidence from being bullied for all those years.
That confidence in herself.
Yeah, she has a lot of confidence. So when people try to make fun of me with their phones out, I'm like, actually, no, don't make fun. Like, if someone calls me ugly, I'm like, I get paid to look like this. What's your excuse?
That's a good one.
I like that.
Being a clown is fun because you get to snap back and be kind of petty with them, and it's funny.
It just
like,
it works. It works as any clown in that zone. Like it just works,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me ask this: do you have like lines, or is it just like, or is it something like at the moment, like this is what I thought of and this is what I said, or do you have like, I'm gonna keep this one in the pocket just in case someone says this, then I'll tell them this?
I tell myself I have things in my pocket, but as soon as the contacts go in and the makeup goes on, I'm like, wait, who am I? Where am I? I forget everything. Like someone's like,
Okay.
oh, I saw you, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't remember. The hair dye is getting to my brain cells. I don't have any left. Like that's why I write down notes on my phone of like good things that happened that night, things I could
Okay.
improve on.
Okay.
Special notes for myself so I can remember when I go out there after my lunch. I'm like, wait, what was I gonna do? Yeah. It happens. My brain goes, what? Especially because, you know, I wear a whiteout contact, so can't see very well.
Yeah.
The lights are blaring. There's people everywhere. I don't make direct eye contact with people. I'm looking at the ground. I'm looking at people's like ankles to see where they're moving. And I'm lower to the ground, so sometimes I'm even crawling on the ground at people, which great scare tactic. It makes people shit their pants every time. That's where the whole toe thief thing came from, and now I'm known for stealing toes.
That's smart though that you do those notes because it's easy to get lost. Like, okay, I just took like 5 breaks throughout the night. I can't remember a single thing that I said, oh, this works from that night, when you could have applied it to like the next night or like your entire run at Scary Farm.
Yeah, exactly. So. Or like little character notes of, okay, this is what I want to improve on. This is some bits that I want to do, etc., etc. Haunt affirmations, because sometimes the imposter syndrome gets a little too real and you're like, wow, I really don't feel like I belong here. Just have some affirmations saying like, you're the shit. Don't get in your head. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Because that's what this is all about. If you get mad at yourself, why? Why are you doing this? This is supposed to be a fun thing. We're supposed to be, you know, free. It's a little creative release after a kind of bad year.
Yeah. Well, Taylor, I think that's all that we have for you.
I have one last question.
I think I know what I think I know what you're going to ask.
You do know what I'm going to ask.
Which I think I also know the answer just based off seeing her stories. But go.
I'm going to ask my question anyway. So normally, you know, people like to ask what your favorite scary movie is. I'm not going to ask that. I want to ask you, who's your favorite scary character?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Tough questions here. Tough questions here.
Ghostface, but specifically the Matthew Lillard one.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Because I love Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, I mean, you really call my dad? My parents are gonna beat me. All right.
See, nice, I thought you were gonna say scary movie because I think you may have asked that to Joey. So I was like, I know what he's gonna ask right now, and my guess would have been, just based on what you post and stuff, would be Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well,
but
it's Jack Skellington.
Yes,
but he's not horror though. He's like family scary,
like
I guess.
Yeah, he's spooky. He's spooky. Okay, good. Matthew Lillard, Ghostface. That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I feel like that's not unpopular either. I feel like a lot of people would also say that.
That or Sam from Trick or Treat. He was my little heart. I love that little guy.
That's my fiance's favorite, and she's not like big on like horror, but she like loves Sam so much.
Well, he's cute. He's cute, but also he'll rip your heart out. So
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the vibes I'm going for this year.
At Horror Nights, one year when Sam was like in the scare zone, he like walked up and was like gonna give her a hug, and then he did the Sam thing where he just walked away. It was so sad. I feel like he just really relates to like short people a lot.
I know what that's like.
He loves them.
I know what that's like.
Oh, Rob, you're tall. You call
in my mind, I'm tall. In spirit, I'm tall. Oh man.
Well, Taylor, we appreciate you coming on. We can't wait to see what you do this year, and just like in your haunt world and in general, your haunt career, I should say, because it's always fun just seeing like all the haunt characters and everything, and seeing how far that they've come between going from like Knott's to Fright Fest to Horror Nights to Queen Mary. Like it's just awesome to see everyone like kind of bounce around and like develop. So huge shout out to you, and thank you for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for having me. I love talking to you guys.
Yeah, and like you'll see Taylor around on our socials and everything, and go visit her in Carnival this year, because and just pre-warning, if you say anything rude to her, she will snap back at you.
Yes.
Better than crying.
Yeah.
Or just be nice.
Yeah.
We are people too.
If you could just be
We're
nice.
on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could just be nice and realize that, like, people don't have to be pieces of shit, that would be great.
Yeah. That's the best way to look at it.
But, yeah, you want to plug your socials real quick, Taylor?
My Instagram is punkloser13, and there's 2 R's. That's all I'm active on.
There you go. And then follow her adventures on Decade Brigade, because there's always posting fun stuff on Decade too.
Yes.
Make sure you follow both Rob and I, The Howling Hour and Exploring Attractions, and follow our Haunt Talk Instagram down below in the description. But my name is Scott.
And I am Rob.
And thank you guys for tuning in to episode 14 of Haunt Talk. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.